excess of $100 million. And so the part-time workers that'll be working over the weekend, earning extra dollars, we're grateful for that. Through the NBA Cares initiatives, as Michael mentioned, the league will leave a lasting legacy even after the weekend ends. I too was here at the 1991 game, not as a player, but as one of those 20,000 fans in the arena over on Tyvola enjoying the weekend. 2019 All-Star will bring the best basketball players in the world right here to our city. It's going to be a great time for them to come.
Thank you guys. Thanks for coming. Obviously, this is an exciting week. We've all been looking forward to this for a couple of years now, and unfortunately, I have no extra tickets. But it gives me great pleasure, obviously, being from North Carolina, that through all the hard work with Adam and with the city, we were able to bring the All-Star game here. Somewhat delayed over the last couple of years, but nevertheless, it's here, and I can't be more proud about how the city has responded. The organization's responded, the efforts behind the scenes from a lot of people within the organization and within the city to finally get the opportunity to bring this game here. I was here in 1991 when the game was here and played at Tyvola over there, where quite naturally the fan support was unbelievable. I do remember the game. Had a decent game, didn't win MVP, but it was a fun game. But we look forward to bringing that same type of energy back. So far it's been, as I said, the energy's been unbelievable from the staff and from the city. We also look forward to getting in within the community, making sure that we support the community around the city. But the energy is unbelievable. And I think it's going to be a fun week, no matter what the weather's going to be. I think the fans that are coming here from out of town is going to see what this city is all about and the dedication that they put forth in putting on an event here in Charlotte. So thanks for coming out, and hopefully you can pass that positive message to the fans and to the community. We are very supportive. And once again, with all the workers behind the scenes, they have done an unbelievable job. And I know I got a lot of work to do, but these guys got a lot of work to do for the next week. But we're going to represent the city 100% in the right frame of mind and from a classy standpoint. So with that, I pass it to Fred, who loves to talk. But I'll let him finish it off.
No, thanks, Michael. And as you all know, we are extremely excited here at Hornet Sports Entertainment, and really looking forward to hosting a great All-Star week, not weekend. I want to thank Michael and Curtis Polk, our managing partner, for all of their support throughout this whole entire process, and really supporting our efforts to bring this game here, not just for our organization, but also for the city of Charlotte. This is going to be the largest sporting event that's ever been held in this city, and probably in the state. And so for us to be able to host it is just an honor. Hosting events like this it takes a collaborative effort by a lot of people. Michael mentioned our staff here at the Hornets. I mean, I can't talk enough about just how everyone in our organization has rolled up their sleeves and made a commitment to make sure we're successful throughout the week. I also want to thank everyone at the NBA. Kelly Flato and her team have been on the ground for almost a year, working day in, day out with our staff, with the city of Charlotte, folks from Mecklenburg County, CRVA. Everybody's been on board and working together to make sure that we represent our city well. These type events will take some patience, so we do hope that our citizens in the region will understand the street closures, the added security, the expected large crowds. Hundreds of events will be taking place throughout our community over the weekend. This event will be broadcast in over 200 countries, 40 different languages and dialects. There'll be over 1,800 media people in our community, and an estimated 150,000 visitors to our community. It truly is an opportunity for us to put our great city on the global stage. The estimated economic impact for our region is in excess of $100 million. And so the part-time workers that'll be working over the weekend, earning extra dollars, we're grateful for that. Through the NBA Cares initiatives, as Michael mentioned, the league will leave a lasting legacy even after the weekend ends. I too was here at the 1991 game, not as a player, but as one of those 20,000 fans in the arena over on Tyvola enjoying the weekend. 2019 All-Star will bring the best basketball players in the world right here to our city. It's going to be a great time for them to compete, to entertain, and help grow our game. And we look forward to a great week of events. Thank you.
Now we'll open it up for questions. Michael, Associated Press, could you ever imagine growing up as a kid in North Carolina that you would someday not only own an NBA franchise but also host the All-Star game?
No, frankly, no. I think initially growing up as a kid here in North Carolina, the first thing is to play basketball. And then things evolved from that. Went to University of North Carolina, then got to Chicago. Obviously, you guys know the history from that. And then be able to have an opportunity to come back and represent the state in an all-star situation from a different seat. It's truly amazing. It tells the path in terms of that I've taken. Very grateful path, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to present that back to the community. So as I said, it's been a long traveled road, and I've been on both sides of the spectrum, and I do not have any doubt that an enjoyment is going to be the same. A little bit more work on this side than what I had to do on the other side. Before I just showed up on Friday, put a ball in my hand and go play. This time it's a little bit more activity, but the pleasure is still the same.
Hold on, go to Nick. Just a reminder, Steve, you have a microphone. So thanks for listening.
Michael, Nick Carboni from NBC Charlotte. Can you just kind of expand on the last few years with you and your team, a collaborative effort, as Fred said, of not getting the game and then sitting here this week and being able to present it?
Well, it was a consistent effort, not just from us as an organization, but from the league, from the community. We would look forward to having the game 2 years ago. Obviously, things happened, and we dealt with those situations and moved it 2 years later. I think a lot of good things has come about since then, and we'll continue to do that. And I think it shows the persistency of how things, if you have a vision about how you want things to happen and you put forth the effort, then here we are 2 years later, which in essence I think could be a great experience, good learning experience, but I think a great opportunity too. And I think Fred and I think he's taken the leadership of going through all the meetings, going down to Raleigh, making sure with the league that we eventually get the All-Star game. And the effort was, I guess, from the league standpoint as well as from all the people that he communicated with, it was a great effort by everybody to get this game. And I'm very happy that the day has finally come.
Michael, Scott Fowler from the Charlotte Observer. As a player, I wonder if you could compare and contrast the way it was in the 90s playing NBA versus now, and particularly, like, I can't remember, did you play hard defense in the All-Star game?
How did I know that was going to get twisted into this whole conversation? But I mean, it's a different time, obviously, and anytime you have an opportunity to represent the fans, it's about playing with your heart and your passion. And the thing is that if you ask any basketball player, even today, I mean, even within the generations, you play the game for the love of the game. So every chance you get to play the game, you play it with the intensity of playing hard. And the fans see that. And that's where you bond with the fans when you do that. Defense is a part of it, offense is a part of it, showcasing your talents, understanding who you're playing with, competing against your fellow players. All that is a part of the whole process. And that's the story that in the presentation that you try to present to the fans. And it's been going on for years. And I think it will continue. And once again, it's all predicated on how you perceive yourself performing and what you're trying to showcase to the fans that are watching. So it is a little different. The players are different, but the idea of showcasing and playing and representing and saying thanks to the fans is the same. It's just a different voice. My voice is a little different than the voice of today. But I think that the passion of the game of basketball is not different than what it was years ago.
Kelly Bardick, WCCB. Michael, do you have any suggestions for Miles Bridges in the dunk contest?
Have fun. I am looking forward to seeing Miles. I think he's a very gifted athlete and a basketball player. It's not just, jumping and dunking. As you know, there's other aspects to the game, but it's an opportunity to showcase what those talents are and how the fans would enjoy that. He's a unique kid. I'm very proud of him as well as Kemba. I forgot to mention having Kemba as an all-star gives me great pleasure because I always believed this kid was an all-star, and he's proven that 3 years in a row, and this year being a starter. So he represents the city very well and the organization very well, and I think Miles will do the same. I'm anticipating some creativity. Now, the dunk contest, ironically, is a very difficult creativity. I mean, we took off from the free throw line. I don't expect anybody taking off from the top of the key. But you're going to see a lot of different creativity from a young crowd, and obviously it should be fun for the fans to see. So I'm looking forward to that, and definitely looking forward to seeing Kemba play an All-Star game.
From WSOC in Charlotte, you're kind of in a unique position as both the owner of the host team and also kind of an ambassador for the league as well. I'm wondering how you see those roles intersecting throughout the weekend.
It's very similar. Obviously being able to be on the other side to understand from a player's perspective what this weekend represents and the proudness that you have for your family, your friends, and even for yourself and the organizations. And then on the other side of it, to be able to look at a guy like Kemba Walker and Miles Bridges and the organization for the effort that they put forth to put on an event like that. That's why I have an advantage over a lot of people that be on both sides, and it gives me great pleasure to be able to present both sides to the fans so they understand the difference, understand the efforts, by everybody involved, and it's unique. So I like to say that I am a little different than most people, and rightfully I've been on both sides, and I'm looking forward to having the fun on this side. That's a different fun, because I live vicariously through the talents that's played on the basketball court and the energy that the fans give. But on the other side, I was able to generate that, from a basketball sense. So I'm anxious to see how different it is. A lot harder on this side than actually putting on a uniform and going out and shooting the jump shots and taking off from the free throw line in the dunk contest, So, but either way, it should be fun.
Hey, Michael, Kyle Bailey, WFNZ. Fred mentioned the legacy of this event, and obviously this organization is a big part of this city's identity. What would you like the legacy of this event to be in terms of both the organization, how it might impact that, but also the city?
I think it's important that for everybody that comes to visit this city during this All-Star game, understand this is a very unique and fun, small town city that everybody would love to come back and visit, even when this All-Star game is not here. For us who live here, we understood it to be a unique city, fun place to be. Small city, not in New York, not in LA, not in Chicago, but still you can drive your car, you don't have to take Uber, you can do a lot of things, and you meet great people. So that to me is the biggest takeaway of the weekend, is that for people who come and understand what this city is all about and the people that live here, and they love to come back even when there's not an All-Star game. And I think we have great sense of pride about showcasing that to the visitors.
Hey, Michael, Rick Bonnell, Charlotte Observer. You have a homegrown all-star starter in this game. I just wondered how you felt that Kemba was perceived by the community, and how you think at this point, when there's going to be so much attention on this town, how you think the team's perceived.
I am very proud, even though it may not look like it, about Kemba Walker. From day one we drafted him, I always thought it was something special about this kid. I remain and still firmly believe that. I think it's still up to us, as well as an organization, to make this city proud about its team. We're still committed to do that. I think today, this weekend, is about Kemba Walker and Miles Bridges. And once this is over with, I think we still have to look at ourselves about making the city proud about the game of basketball and how we play it on an everyday basis and not just during the All-Star break. So this weekend it's a prideful thing. I'm very proud about the commitments from the organization with our players. But we still have a lot of work to do in terms of making fan base even more prouder about playing in June. To me, that's still a major focus for me. Major.
Michael, Eric Spanberg from the Business Journal. You mentioned it's harder being on the side you're on now. I'm curious, Forbes just valued the team at $1.25 billion. It was about $300 million when you bought it. Having the whole league here, sort of a stamp of approval, could you maybe just share a little perspective on what the journey's been like on the business side and where you see the health of the franchise at the moment?
Well, I think what everybody's looking at is obviously from my initial investment of where the team's evolved to, but I think when you have to look at the league and where the league is involved to, it's not just Charlotte. It's a lot of other franchises that's grown. And I think it says a lot about the game of basketball being played from a global standpoint and how, the league and Adam Silver, as well as the leadership of the organization or the NBA, has taken the game and grown it from when I played. So that is a testament. That's what the Forbes basically says. Everybody wants to look at my involvement in the whole process, but you got to look at the bigger picture. The game has grown, and it will continue to grow because of the globalness of how the game is being perceived. And I think the league has done an unbelievable job in presenting that, not just to the U.S. or Europe, but India, China, all these other places. So that is gratifying. That is, to me, says a lot about the game that I played and how it has progressed from a player as well as from ownership.
Richard Walker, Gaston Gazette, obviously for both of you guys. I know, Fred, you had a connection, I guess, in Greensboro back in '71 with the ABA All-Star Game. Michael, you played in the game. Used to be that the the All-Star Game was the way to get on TV. We've changed a lot since then. Do you think back about how daunting it is, how amazing it is that you're a part of the game comes to you? You have to bid to have it. I mean, back in probably '71, I think Greensboro got it just because not many people in the ABA wanted the game. I mean, It's really remarkable how much it has changed, and your two unique perspectives on being a part of the history of the ABA and the NBA All-Star Games.
Well, I didn't know much about the '71. I was only 8 years old at the time, but I do understand the '91 and obviously 2019. And once again, I say that the growth of basketball and the interest within the game of basketball has grown tremendously. The business around basketball has grown just as much. And yes, it's a bidding process. It's a bidding process in the sense that most cities want to be able to present the game on their platform from a business aspect as well as from a prideful and being able to showcase their city. And next year's in Chicago, which is very uniquely connected with myself as well. But you can understand why every city would love to host something like this because of the business as well as the passion that follows the game of basketball.
We haven't had this kind of attention on a global scale since 1991. Almost 30 years later, what are you really hoping to showcase to the world about the city of Charlotte?
Well, just to Michael's point, what a great city it is to live, work, and play and raise families. And we truly believe that when we get an opportunity as a community to host a global event, that we all pull together in the community and make sure it's successful, and then that gives us the opportunity to host the next global event. And so we truly believe that us hosting the 2012 Democratic National Convention allowed us this opportunity because the NBA felt like we executed in a great way, and we believe landing this All-Star Game helped us land the 2020 Republican National Convention. And anytime we can put our city on the global stage and have a huge economic impact for our region and our citizens, I think we in the community want to make sure that people get a chance to see this city that ordinarily wouldn't have even taken a look at our city.
Will Kunkel, Fox 46 here in Charlotte. You mentioned putting the city, both of you guys have, on display. What about putting the Hornets on display, the team on display, not only for the community to kind of dive back in and get in the building, and for free agents or for players just around the country as well, the franchise more than just the city?
Well, that goes to my point. Obviously you're going to have people from outside the spectrum of Charlotte or North Carolina is going to see the city and understand, even though it may be a small market, this could be a destination. You never know. I think Kemba Walker starting is an illustration of what the organization and the type of players that we're trying to attract and grow from within. So I think that is, from a Hornets standpoint, on display this week. And we got a lot of work to do, as I said, and a lot of choices to be made to get to that level. But it starts with the presentation of what this city is all about for other people to see and understand that it may be a small market, but it's a unique city to be. And the fan base totally comes out and support. They support the game tremendously. 91, they did that, and here we are 20 years or 30 years later and basically doing the same thing.
Robin with The Athletic. Going back to the slam dunk contest, just wondering, with Miles being in this year, just when you look back on your opportunities to compete with Dominique and whatnot, what do you remember most about those, and do you think those contests actually help grow the game to where it is right now?
What I remember most, two North Carolina boys going at it. People don't realize he was from Washington, North Carolina. I'm from Wilmington, two extremes. And it gives us great pride that, that type of showmanship, that's always going to be a connected bond between me and him. And I think it brought a different, it's like the All-Star game having a baseball All-Star, like having a home run derby. It was a part of the face of the creativity and the uniqueness of what those individuals brought to the game itself. It wasn't defining who we were, it was a part of who we were. And being that both players came from North Carolina, that is the connection that I remember the most about Dominique and myself.
Hey, Michael, Adam has said a couple of things recently that I found kind of interesting. One of them is very specifically related to what's going on this weekend. He said that how well you articulated the day that they decided that they had to pull the game from here, that you said you were completely supportive of the reasoning on that, and that you hoped that all the work that everybody had done wouldn't get wasted. Adam said, you really connected those two things in a day that he said pushed people in the right direction. Along the same lines, this summer when he spoke after the Board of Governors meeting,
sure,
he said that you have been really, really valuable as a connector, as far as an owner who knows how a player feels. He said he needs that perspective. I just wondered how you feel, now that you've been an owner for a while, what your experiences can be of unique value to the league.
The thing is, in unifications of different personalities of respective positions, you need someone who can connect the dots. And oddly enough, ironically enough, I was put in that position, being a player and then as an owner. And I pull on both sides to try to communicate to both sides. Now, those are tough conversations to have sometimes because emotions get involved sometimes. And even from my standpoint, you're sitting in those meetings to have the ownership understand that this is what the player is trying to say. There's a certain way you need to say it so they understand it that way. And then on the player side, hey, look, this is how the business operates. This is the growth. This is the piece of the pie that we need to understand, that we need to show and grow it. Now, you have a responsibility, and we have a responsibility. If you don't have that type of communication between two parties, you're going to have a disconnect. And that leads to not being great partners. And I think the opportunity that Adam gave me, and obviously one that we, myself and all my partners, were able to obtain in ownership, was to be able to have that voice of reason. And, pertaining to the game, we understood what the league was trying to do. We understood the atmosphere around the game. All I said is, I want to have an opportunity to be able to get the game because the energy around the city was so strong to have the game. And Adam really listened. But those are the types of situations that when I'm sitting, in this suit and communicating with the other owners, I'm also have shorts and a t-shirt, tank top, being able to have the player's perspective. That's very unique, and I take great pride in being able to do that. It's not an easy job because you have a lot of egos on both sides, and here you got an egotistical guy in the middle. So it's not a hard thing. But so far, knock on wood, it's been a great conversation. No disharmony within the players and the ownership. We've been able to maintain the relationship throughout the process. the growth, and everybody's happy about where the game is. I think that's a credit to Adam. That's a credit to the Players Association, Chris Paul, and Michelle Roberts, and here I am stuck right in the middle, being able to understand both voices. That's the health of where we are, and that's unique. And I think hopefully that will continue as long as my voice is still loud. Sure.
Am I good, Mike? Thanks for following along.
I'm with the program.
Michael, you got a couple All-Stars coming in this weekend. Russell Westbrook just got 10 straight triple-doubles.
Sure.
And you got James Harden with 30-point games. I'm just curious from a player's perspective, which one do you feel like was harder to achieve, and which one was more critical?
But that's okay. That's okay. I figured they was going to get that. Both. They're all both hard. And uniquely, it shows the talent, that we have within the league. It shows still progression within the league. I'm very proud about what both guys have done because they're making their mark for the league, and I think it really helps the growth of the league. Which is harder from a player standpoint. 6 championships by all means.
Take one more.
Michael, in 1988, you won your first All-Star Game MVP, and you did it in Chicago. I'm just wondering if you had kind of reflections on that moment playing on your home court, and then if you had an idea of what opportunity was in front of Kemba on Sunday.
The team that you play with, when I played with in '88, they were very supportive of obviously the opportunity of playing within your city. They weren't trying to give me anything. But the energy that you have as a guy playing at home was so high, and you want to impress all the people that support you all the time, and that carried you right into the game to a point where I couldn't miss a shot. My energy, I was stealing the ball, I was doing. So you wanted to, play that respect to the crowd. I don't think that's going to be any different for Kemba. Kemba's going to go out there and play as hard as he can to represent the people in this city. Does that equate to a champion, to MVP? I don't know. I would assume that everybody on his team would love to see him do it, but I don't think they're going to try to cater to that because that's something that it doesn't seem natural when you do it that way. I think even when I won the MVP in Chicago, it seemed natural because that's the way I played, and everybody played that way. I would hope that would be the same situation for Kemba, and that we're not trying to give it to him. If he earns it, he earns it. He's deserving of it, but you have to play the game to deserve it, as opposed to someone giving it to you.
Last one,
Can you explain what it's like to host a game on your birthday? Will it be a big birthday celebration on that day?
It's a constant reminder that I'm getting old. It's amazing. The All-Star game is always around my birthday. I wish it could be postponed a week or before or after, but it's a constant reminder that the game is evolving. I'm evolving.
If he can do what Harden's doing, would you consider that to be a success?
Harden only won when Chris Paul said, "I'll come play with you."
Well, he's not going to play by himself. He's going to need another piece,
Yeah, but
obviously.
nobody wants to play in New Orleans. That's the problem. You're going to go to a franchise, nobody wants to play it. That neighborhood is a neighborhood in New Orleans that other stars don't want to be in. Boston may not be the best place for free agents, but it's a place. It's not Indiana.
It might not be the best place for Jason Tatum either, and he's likely going to get moved because he's been in a lot of trade conversations.
Kyrie Irving's hurt again. Jason Tatum doesn't want to be there.
Well, it's just a report that he wouldn't mind going to New Orleans. Jason Tatum didn't come out and say trade.
If I came out and said, I wouldn't mind working at the Bravo Network, that's saying I'm not happy here. Vice is an interesting channel. I wouldn't say that because I like it where I'm at.
I think Jason Tatum is a very impressive player, and I think he could be the face of the franchise.
If you said, I wouldn't mind marrying
phone's about to die. Hey.
Man, what can I do about these fucking new people, man?
What are you talking about?
Man, that Brian Boudreaux dude fucking texted me yesterday saying, telling me that I had an appointment with him today, like, abandoned Brian or whatever today. And he just texted me, he was like, call me. And so I get out of my class and I call him. He's like, yeah, you're going to be here today at 4 hours. I'm like, no, I have a doctor's appointment. You just texted me this yesterday. Like, what the hell is wrong? Like, I'm not going to fucking jump on y'all how people jump. And he's like, okay, we'll meet you here tomorrow at 4:30. And he's like, and don't forget those pictures. I'm not gonna fucking go off on these people. I don't know how long I can keep my cool with these people, like, for real. Like,
Yeah,
taking a tweet, he's like, I did something wrong. Like, what the fuck is wrong with them?
yeah, they. All you got is they can't
You
do
know what I'm
nothing.
saying? Like, that, he's like trying to bully me into this shit.
Yeah, I know they are, cause they try not. I told you, they try not to get that fucking lawsuit. You're the only shot they got.
Well, Jay has to get rid of it. I don't want to get in any trouble, but
You can't, but my lawyer said that they're gonna try. They can't do you nothing. All you gotta do, as long as you show up at my trial, they can't do you nothing. They can't take your son away. They can't. They're using all of that as a weapon.
He's like getting aggressive. He's like, okay, well, make sure you're here tomorrow. And I'm only trying to keep the appointments with them because
I wouldn't. You gotta be. If I was you, I wouldn't go to that appointment tomorrow, because then you're sending them a sign that you're not on their side, and they can't arrest you for it. It's gonna. He's getting bullied like that because they don't want to go to tell the judge, hey, we don't have our witnesses ready and shit. But as long as you show up at that court date, you're gonna be fine. If I was you, I wouldn't even meet up with them anymore from out of court, because they're trying to coach. All they're gonna do is trying to coach you on what to say to throw me away, and then like you said, they're gonna have a.
pictures and videos. I don't have any pictures and videos. Like, you tripping. You asked me to get it. It's the way he's going about this. Like, he's not even he's being rude. He's being straight rude. Like, no, just because you texted me yesterday telling me that there's an opening, no, excuse me, but no. Like, you know what I'm saying? He didn't even ask me, oh, can you make it? He's like, oh, 4 o'clock tomorrow at the DA's office to meet with a man that, oh, don't forget to bring those pictures. Excuse me, I never agreed. You never called me and asked me when I had off.
Right.
So I'm taking time out of my class right now that I'm learning something just to come out here and call you to demand something.
Yeah. I wouldn't even go to that meeting tomorrow. Don't go to that meeting tomorrow because what they're gonna tell the judge they're not ready, and then when they're gonna ask for it to be pushed back again, the judge is gonna throw the case out.
Yeah, but you're right. All I have to do is show up to the
Yeah. You don't have to go to that fucking meeting, but as long as you show up to the court, as long as you show up to my trial date, show that, like, and the only reason you have to show up there is because they subpoenaed you. But even if they weren't subpoenaing you, my lawyer is not subpoenaing you because they already have you there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't know that. I thought I was going to get in trouble if I didn't meet them, but that makes sense. That makes complete sense because
They're making it seem like that because they need you, because they can't go to the judge and they don't have no more chances to tell the judge, oh, we need more time. So they're like, that's, and then they're fucking stressed out because, like I said, you're the only shot they got at this fucking case. They fucking go.
because I got work tomorrow too after school, and I'm not trying to bust my ass because how would I get to work then? Like, I have an hour to get from school to work, and I don't have a car either. How do you get the bus most of the time? For sure, you know, like, it's really big and making me mad. Like, at first I was like, okay, you know, okay, you're being polite about it. I'll come and meet with y'all and hear what y'all gotta say. But I told them from the go, I'm not saying shit. I'm not saying anything. I
best thing. I think the best thing to do is just show up at my court date and save all of that for and say and let them and to let them know, understand, and once and then the jury is there. Best thing to do. But they was
I'm tired of them like trying to make it seem like, oh, we're doing this for justice for Makai. Okay, I'm
yeah,
Makai right now. Do y'all know anything about Makai?
Yeah, where were they the whole? If they really cared about Micaiah, where were they the whole year that I raised him and he walked in? The worst thing they could do was take him away from me, but they want to sit here and be like, that's what's best for him. When that was the worst thing. That's what I mean. So guess what's gonna happen at court? That's why my lawyer's gonna let them talk first, and then my lawyer, whenever my lawyer brings up that I raised him, he's not gonna bring that up until after they shoot themselves in the mouth. He's gonna let them say whatever they want first. And then nobody can say that I didn't raise him when my signatures all over the therapists who all on my side. Just like Frankie said though, just be patient for right now, cause their time's almost up. Tell me what to do. I mean, I should have never talked to them, but nobody knew what the fuck was going on. So I was like, I didn't know when all this happened. I didn't know. I was like, okay, this is when I had him, and this is what happened when I had him. I don't know if it's something I did. Now we know he wasn't shooken violently. But what they're gonna do is they're gonna get terrified. When you don't show up tomorrow, they're gonna get spooked and think you're not showing up for the trial. They're gonna be scared out. They're gonna be terrified. They're gonna think the whole case is fucking ruined. But you will be there at the court, that way you don't get a warrant. But still, it's not gonna help them. Like Frankie said, the time's running out. Which is fucking easy because